Hi, in this video I'm going to be demonstrating how to replace this breather hose. This breather hose is under this whole intake section, and you may even hear it whistling if you put your ear close to the side here. I am getting a rough idle and it's time to change this hose. This is a W203 and it is the 271 model. This is the C-180K. Now for the explanation of how to remove this, I'm just going to show you an older DIY. I'm just going to play that so you see how to remove this, and then I will install the breather hose, and then I will put the older video back on showing how I reassemble this. I'm now going to open the air filter. These are T25. I'm going to release this air intake. Right, so now I loosen the strap here. Right, on the side there are two E10 screws. I've removed them. Right, you can gently pry this off. Then there's one inside here. Then there's one on the side over there. Right, now over there and there is an attachment point, there and there, offering some dampening. So this has to go backwards a bit. Right, there's this clamp which I can't get to. Now I've taken a copper wire, I've looped it on the one side, and then on this side I'm just taking a screwdriver and then I can open it. As you can see, I'll be able to open it. That copper wire I can then tug on and then pull out this pipe. I've just tied the copper wire over here. That screw must be pulled out as much as possible, and this screw must also be pulled out as much as possible so that this can be slid backwards. Right, if you have a look at these two screws, you'll notice that even though they're loose, they don't quite come out. And when you're trying to slide this back, you'll notice that these screws block you. You need to make sure these are up and then slide, otherwise these will block you from sliding this out. Right, there's a connector here, so that can now move like that. Okay, you're going to need to take this out, so one. So to get this out, you see you've got to slide that out, and the same at the back, you slide that out. Right, now it's still stuck because there's some cable ties here. Right, so there's a clip at the back, just remove that one. There's one over here as well. And there's a pipe over here. If you want to completely take this out, you have to remove this. So what I do is I just slide in a screwdriver on the side and then that comes off. Right, now you can take this out. Probably the most difficult part is to get this out of that, and it's because of this clamp. Now I showed a method of removing it. If you've got very long nose pliers, this can also work. I just clamped it, opened it, and then it allowed me to pull this up. But putting this back on is a bit more challenging, and what I do is I wind some wire here. You can get a tool which can hold this in place, but I don't have that tool. Right, so here is the pipe, and there it is torn, and on the corner over there it's also torn. So I'm just going to remove this. Just going to spray some penetrating lubricant here. Now if you follow the pipe, at the end of the hose there is a clamp. That clamp has to be removed. So I need to release that. I'm just going to tap the screwdriver on that little clamp there just to open it up a bit. And just gently. Right. So this clamp is now loose, and now I can pull the pipe out. Just grabbing the remainder of this clamp. I've just sprayed a bit of lubricant to release the end of that pipe. In my case, the bottom part broke off, so I've just removed it manually with the long nose pliers. And I'm just cleaning it and blowing it out. Now, in my case, the pipe was so frayed that some little particles were accumulating on the top of the nozzle there. If you have a look at that, little bits of rubber had found its way to the end of the pipe. All right, so I've cleaned the area, and I'm just going to take a toothpick and just make sure that that nozzle is open. There's my toothpick, and I'm just going to make sure it's open. Right, I now have the new pipe and I need to insert it in there. It will require the clamp. There's the original clamp, and how this clamp works is I would have to tighten it with these long nose pliers, and the one side climbs over the other side. It is quite tricky to do this from a distance. If it's easier, one could just use one of these clamps and try to thread a screwdriver through here to tighten the clamp. Right, it is quite difficult to reuse this clamp, especially since my new pipe is quite fat, so I'm now going to resort to this type of clamp. I'm just making sure the tensioner is facing this way. It's best to use 2 screwdrivers to push that clamp down towards the bottom of the nipple. It's quite easy to put that on. Just take your 2 fingers and push it on. It climbs over that nipple quite easily. Now I just put the clamp on. Right, using 2 screwdrivers, I have a flat screwdriver here blocking the back of the clamp, and then I have a flat screwdriver here tightening the head of the clamp. There's the screwdriver coming in from this angle onto the head of the clamp, and the other screwdriver just offering support at the back so the clamp doesn't move when I try and screw it in. I've also just put the hose here underneath here so it's tucked away and not in my way. Right, now that that clamp is on inside there, it is really tight. I can put the other side of the hose onto this nipple over here. I just need to remove the old clamp from the old pipe. This is like a spring clamp. And then I just seat that like that. Right, now that the pipe's been replaced, I will reinstall everything. I'm just going to revert back to my older video of how to put this back together. Right, the next step is you want to put this back on your car, but you'll have to open this clamp. Now once you seat this into your car, it is very difficult to put this clamp on. So there are a few methods you can use. If you don't have a tool that can open this for you, this is what I do. I've tied wire to a fixed surface. I've then tied it to there, and as you can see, when I pull on the wire, it is opening the mouth of the clamp. Right, so there you see the clamp is big, and you can see it fits nicely over this. Now I can put this into the car, and when I'm finished, all I do is I take side cutters and I cut the wire, and then the clamp then closes. Or you could just go and buy one of these clamps. Right, so there you can see I've put the clamp on that side of the pipe, and now I can put the air intake back on. And just note that that and that have to slide in there and there. You can put a little bit of lubrication there so it slides in easily. Move all the wires. Right. Now it must slide in these slots first. Okay. Now it's time to seat it at the back there. Now move these harnesses again. I'm just going to use this to open the mouth of this clamp. There you can see I'm going to open it a little bit more so I can slide the pipe in. Don't forget to cut that so it releases and tightens on that pipe. Right, now it's time to plug everything back in. I just spray some contact cleaner before I plug in things. Pull it at the back, seat it, press it. Open this, seat it, press. Tighten the screws, put this pipe back in. Right, reseat this. Right, your 2 screws. Seat the bottom first.